Let's see. Yeah, I mean, how has it been like having, George Romero and like all these MDs on the board? Like, what's it like getting to talk to them?
Very cool. I mean, that's another thing I have to say about zombies that really strikes me is it seems to me that on top of this, being biologically based and kind of mirroring the different diseases that we are, learning about all the time and see on the news and looking like the same disasters we see on the news kind of look like the aftermath of zombie outbreaks. So the other reason I think they're really, that's interesting to me that I think they're really popular is that it seems like the fan base is everybody from like some 10-year-old kid in San Diego to some leading doctor, in Boston, some nationally renowned physician in Boston. So if you think about like vampires, for instance, especially, the recent incarnation of vampires, Twilight, right? You're not going to find anybody other than like 13-year-old girls pretty much who like Twilight.
Yeah, it's a pretty specific culture.
Yeah, whereas zombies like go across all cultures and all ages and all economic classes, all levels of education. So I think that's been really cool. And, what's surprising to me about this advisory board, because Zombie Research Society has grown organically. So there wasn't a plan to build an advisory board. It literally was like when I called some of these guys up, it turned out they were really into zombies. So that's been really cool to just sort of see how it's all grown.
Yeah, cool. We talked to Scott Kennemore, and one of the things he brought up was that zombies have a specific brotherhood to them, So I think that kind of relates to what we just mentioned.
Yeah, they do. And, the other thing I would say to that, I actually, I just saw Kennemore last weekend at a zombie convention in L.A., but he's a good guy. Is that, zombies are the only club that accept all comers, Like zombies want you just as much if you're like the president of a big company or if you're like a homeless guy living on the street, Like zombies want everyone to join them. And I think you see that reflected in like zombie walks and in zombie grassroots activities too, because it's like you'll see some college professor dressed up like a zombie walking in a zombie walk next to like a family with a little kid, next to some like punk rock dude who they would all like cross the other side of the street if they passed them on a normal day. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, there's no discrimination, which is really cool.
Exactly. Whereas, I've never done this, but I assume if I went to some like vampire goth club and I like didn't look right or didn't have the right size fangs or whatever, they'd be like, "Oh, you're a loser,"
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I could kind of get behind that. I feel like there's a specific crowd, like and mostly probably like younger, like suburban kids. Like that's how I feel vampires are. No disrespect, but like I don't know.
I'm not a big vampire fan, so it's no disrespect to me.
Yeah, and then that kind of comes full circle here because you were on the Deadliest Warrior, Zombies versus Vampires, and that's actually how I found out about the Zombie Research Society. So, well, first off, did they portray zombies to your standard?
Well, at the time I thought it was all good. I mean, we didn't have a problem with it, but I have to say, and one of the members made a comment online that I thought was a really, really solid argument against what they did. And here it is. They used the new version of vampires from like 30 Days of Night. So this beast-like creature that has a whole row of fangs, and it can open its jaw super wide, and it's just like basically like an animal. It's like this beastly animal that works in teams. So there's like 3 of them, and they work together. And that's a novelty from 30 Days of Night, and
but then
which is totally exactly like Blade, which is totally fine. But then they use the old school vampire, old school zombie, the Romero zombie that's slow and shambling. So it's sort of like, why didn't they use the fast zombie from like Zombieland? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why if you're going to use the brand new vampire? And I'm a traditionalist, so I kind of tend to lean towards the like slow old school zombie. But in terms of a fight, if you're setting up the rules and you're going to use the new vampire, why wouldn't you use the new zombie? And so I never thought about that before because I was actually just kind of happy they were using the slow zombie in the first place. But, it it does seem like it created a little bit of an unfair advantage. I mean, imagine if, because the fight was pretty close.
It was.
Imagine if they used fast zombies. I think they would have won for sure.
Yeah, if the zombies just like busted through, there would have been, and at least they put the to be continued at the end of the episode. That I think that really.
I think
helped.
They want to do another one next season.
Yeah, I mean it was thrilling throughout the entire episode, and I mean, yeah, but if you had like the classic Count Dracula like solo kind of running around, like things may have turned out differently.
Right.
And let's see.
But no, I mean, I thought it was fine. It was pretty obvious that they didn't tell us who won during the filming of it. They wouldn't tell us. And we didn't see it, obviously, all edited together until it actually aired. But it was, Max and I talked about it, and we were like, we'd be really pretty surprised if the zombie wins, because just the way they set up the test and the way we saw it going, we're like, it looks like, given these tests, it looks like the vampire is going to win.
Yeah, you definitely felt like zombies were the underdog.
Yeah.
I feel like they did a pretty fair test run, I mean, they kept the numbers close, and it was nice the way they extrapolated the zombie horde, because that's essential to the way zombies operate, Right. So it was tense watching that, and I think it was really cool, though.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely fun.
Yeah. So, all right, yeah, well, we're nearing about half an hour on the interview, so I guess I want to just kind of wrap it up and ask, if you could say just any thought or fact or something about zombies, like, if you want to get it off your chest, now's the time.
Well, all right, I mean, in what area, like zombie survival or I guess I'll talk about one thing about zombie survival, I would say, is this. The most important thing you have to think about in terms of zombie survival, we'll never know exactly what the zombie outbreak will be like until it happens, right? So anybody that tells you that they know this is exactly the way zombies will be, and this is how it'll spread, and this is how you survive it, they're doomed to be wrong. And if you follow their advice, you're probably going to get killed and eaten just like they will. But I would say the one thing we can kind of all agree on is that people make zombies, right?
Yeah.
So without people, there can be no zombies. So whatever your zombie survival plan is when you put it together and you're looking at it and thinking about it and you go, oh, this plan's fantastic, the one thing I would say is that you have to ask yourself, will other people be doing this same plan? Or when I implement this plan and go to whatever location I think I'm going to go to, will there be other people there? If the answer is yes, do not do that plan, right? So if your plan is to go to Walmart and grab all the stuff that you need after the zombie outbreak happens, think about it. Are other people going to go to Walmart? Yes. The answer is yes. So do not go to Walmart.
Yeah, that's very funny, because my friend literally, that was his plan, and I blew his mind and just went, well, I mean, Walmart has everything you need, but it's a desirable location, and people are going to try and go there, and he was just like, oh.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I've heard that 1,000 times, Oh, the other one I love? I'm going to just go to a gun shop and I'm going to loot it and take all the guns, and then I'll be all set. Like, the gun shop owner is going to be happy about you breaking into a shop and taking all the stuff. Yeah. And he's the guy who has rights to that, and he's the guy who's heavily armed and trained.
Yeah, he's the guy with the guns.
Yeah, he's the guy with the guns that you want to take away when you have no guns. So, that's a good way to get shot in the face. I'm not sure it's a good way to survive a zombie outbreak.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, that's a very important thing to keep in mind to all our listeners. I mean, I always say everyone has their zombie survival plan, but I mean, you gotta just, try again and like get this thing down to a T, I mean, really got to put some thought into it. All right, Matt. Well, yeah, thank you so much for, taking the time to talk to us and give us some insight on the matter. And, hopefully there'll be some good future things in store here for us zombie fans.
Sounds good.
All right.
Great talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Stay safe.